A couple traveled to waters near Antarctica for a vacation, but they lost their way at sea. A month passed, and they were still drifting on the ocean. Just as despair began to set in, the husbands suddenly spotted an island ahead. Overjoyed, they anchored their yacht and boarded an inflatable boat to reach the deserted island. Upon landing, they discovered no signs of human activity whatsoever. After walking for half an hour, they suddenly noticed an abandoned base in the distance. They hurried to investigate, but the place had been abandoned for ages. Inside, there were no supplies that could help them. With no choice, the couple returned to their boat, but their luck took a turn for the worse. The wife noticed dark clouds gathering in the distant sky. The man realized a heavy rainstorm was approaching. By the time they reached the shore, they quickly dragged the dinghy into the water. Unexpectedly, the raging rain and waves made it impossible for the dinghy to move forward. After several failed attempts, they chose to take shelter in an abandoned warehouse, planning to leave once the storm passed. Fortunately, the husband had a lighter, allowing them to stay warm through the cold night. The next day, when the rain stopped, they intended to leave immediately, but to their shock, the yacht they had anchored at sea had vanished. This left them utterly panicked. They had clearly moored the yacht offshore. How could it have disappeared so suddenly? Without pausing to think, they hurriedly launched the dinghy to search for the yacht. But just then, the husband abruptly shut off the engine. Knowing it would only waste fuel, he swiftly grabbed the oars, intending to paddle around the island. Then, unexpectedly, they made a startling discovery. The area teemed with thousands upon thousands of penguins. They beached the dinghy and began climbing toward the highest point on the mountain. But despair set in. Only endless sea and barren islands stretched before them. No trace of their yacht was found. With no other option, they returned to the abandoned warehouse, temporarily using it as shelter, while waiting for someone to discover them. Fortunately, they found shellfish in rock crevices and ample fresh water. At least food wasn't an immediate concern. Next, they dismantled wooden planks from the warehouse. After a day of labor, they quickly constructed a massive distress signal atop the mountain. If an airplane flew overhead, it might spot them stranded here. Thus they lived for 10 days, their sole sustenance the shellfish. Gradually, their bodies began to falter. The wife grew increasingly weak. They now needed fats and proteins to sustain bodily functions for survival, so they set their sights on the penguins.